I'm Hal Mumme, University of Kentucky head football coach. Since 1986, our offense has been one of the best offenses in whatever league we happen to play at, and we've done this at 4 different levels of competition, starting in high school in Texas, 2 small colleges, and now in the SEC. Our offensive ideas and practice plans are something I think can help any school, and we have found that through the years the attention to detail and the overall general way of practice that we use now at the University of Kentucky has been one that's brought us great success. Our offensive coordinator, Mike Leach, has put together this video along with the help of our offensive staff and our whole support staff here at the University of Kentucky, and I do hope it helps you very much.
My name is Mike Leach. I'm the offensive coordinator here at the University of Kentucky. Today we're going to talk about some of the drills and techniques we use to teach our passing game. We'll emphasize the play of the quarterback, the wide receivers, the running backs, and the offensive linemen. Our practices here at Kentucky last an hour and 45 minutes, so it's important to us that we maximize our practice time. We believe that these drills allow us to get high repetitions and get as much taught in a multifaceted passing game as possible. The first drill that we're going to talk about today is the settle up and noose drill. This is the first drill that we run each practice all season long. The first couple shots that I'm going to show you after my introduction is a wide shot showing the entire drill and how it works. Then after that, we're going to show the individual positions and the details that we stress with regard to this drill. The players involved in this drill are the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, the running backs, the tight ends, and the offensive centers. We don't have a stretch period here at Kentucky, and so instead we do this drill where the tempo is 1/4 speed. And this allows us to get the muscles warmed up at a low tempo, but also allows us to stress a great deal of detail since we're only going 1/4 speed.
This shows the drill settle up and noose in its entirety. After following these shots, we're going to show the drill broken up into components of what we're doing with each position. As you can see, the receivers are going to settle up between these 2 dummies, catch the ball in the hands, turn and go straight upfield. There's a lot of attention to detail here since we're only going 1/4 speed. In the course of our practice, we'll set up several stations of these dummies to accommodate all of our quarterbacks and our wide receivers. The quarterback, just like the receivers, is dropping back approximately 1/4 speed and throwing the ball in softly as he warms up his arm. We want him to put it right in the hands on the proper number as the receiver turns and goes straight upfield. Here we're working on the shotgun snap. We work on shotgun snap as well as under center.
Another point of emphasis in this drill is the quarterback-center exchange. Here we have Jason in a good stance, Tim in a good stance. Tim's going to put pressure so that Jason knows where to deliver the football. As you can see, Tim is relatively back so that he can receive the ball, he can see downfield, and then he can immediately get the ball up in a throwing position. Tim's stance, he has his feet narrow so that he can get a big first step, back straight, head up, ready to go. Now we're going to go step by step on the exchange. All right, go ahead, 1 step at a time. Jason will snap the ball. Tim receives the ball, puts the ball high, and gets a big first step. And then Tim works down the line. This line here is important to us to make sure that the quarterback drops straight when he goes back.
Here's Tim taking a snap under center. Tim takes the ball, gets a big first step, which we believe is very important to begin a drop. Finishes his drop, settles back up into the pocket. Here's a shot of a slow motion snap under center. The quarterback puts pressure on the seat of the center, and the center puts the ball right where he feels the pressure. Quarterback drops on down the line.
For the shotgun snap, we set the quarterback 5 yards from the football. The center's going to naturally push the ball through his legs without snapping his wrist, following through at the top of his hip.
Another good snap by the center. The quarterback drops back a couple steps and then once again steps back up into the pocket. Here's a slow motion shot of a shotgun snap. As you can see, the center finishes well with his hand, follows through all the way to his seat.
Okay, when Tim completes his drop, as you can see, his shoulders slightly open to the left so that he can see that side of the field and easily throw that direction, and already being able to see this side of the field where he's facing.
Here's another example of a snap and a drop. We're stressing the finite details of quarterback play here. Here's a good example of the quarterback walking through his drop step by step to show the steps at a low tempo. As you can see, he has the ball high throughout, and at the end he steps back up into the pocket. We like the ball up by the ear so it's always ready to be delivered. Also, we like his back elbow up as he begins to release the ball. There the back elbow goes up, and that's a pretty good release. The back elbow goes up, the ball's released in a circular motion. As Tim comes over the top with the ball, we want his thumb to go down, and the ball should be touched by his first finger last. Here's a pretty good shot dropping down the line. The elbow goes up, ball comes back. The thumb will turn down, and it'll come off his first finger.
We want the receivers to begin this drill in a perfect stance. And what we're looking for with a perfect stance, we want him to play as low as he comfortably can, to have power angles with the legs. We want 90% of the weight on the front foot so that as he comes off, he can just take a rolling start without any false step. Take a rolling start there, Jimmy. Once the receiver comes out of his stance, we want him to settle up between these dummies. We want him to settle closer to one dummy than the other with his hands in a good noose position, which is why we call this drill the settle up and noose drill. We consider this a noose here with the forefingers and the thumbs touching, whereas this would not be a noose where they're apart here. Since we're doing this drill only 1/4 speed, we're going to really stress perfection. We want him to catch every ball in the hands, and as he catches the ball, he'll tuck it and turn and go straight upfield. The quarterback, as he drops down the line, should deliver this ball to the number that's away from the dummy. In this case, he'd deliver the ball to the number 1. Other things to note is that Lance has a little bend in his arm, so if the ball goes forward off his hands, he can extend his hands to go get them. If they come back off his hands, then he can adjust back to the ball, rather than being locked out like this where he can't adjust forward, or too close here where he gets jammed. He wants to, as it's out here, he wants to be able to see detail on the ball as it comes in. The ball will be delivered on this number. He'll tuck it. He'll turn and go straight upfield. Our thoughts on delivering the ball on this number here is because we want to throw the ball away from coverage. We think of these dummies as coverage people. And then in the course of the game, we want the ball to be caught and to turn away from the nearest coverage man and to go immediately upfield. It's crucial that he take an immediate step upfield without any wasted motion so that he explodes on the defensive back upfield, hopefully causing the DB to hesitate, and we get extra yards after the catch.
The slow tempo of this drill allows us to warm up our muscles doing football skills. Here's a good example of Jimmy Robinson. Now here's Lance Mickelson. He settles closer to one dummy than the other. Quarterback delivers the ball on the number 1, and he turns and goes straight upfield. Good stance. Catches the ball in his hands, goes straight upfield. The other thing the tempo allows us to do is really stress detail and technique. We now have a couple of game clips that illustrate some of the things that we're trying to teach in the settle up and noose drill. Here's an example of catching it in the hands, turning and going straight upfield, and getting yards after the catch.
next drill that we run is called pat and go. That's the drill we run immediately after the noose drill. As we said before, the noose drill is 1/4 speed tempo. This drill will begin half speed tempo. The receivers will be aligned out by the numbers. The quarterback will pat the ball, take one step, and put it into their hands softly, kind of like on a hot read. The receiver will then take the ball and up the field and hand it to another line of quarterbacks and receivers who are going the opposite direction, like in a circle. The next aspect of that drill, as our legs get loose, as the quarterback's arms get loose going half speed, we'll extend it to 3/4 to full speed. At this point, the quarterbacks take a 3-step drop, and the receivers run upfield hard, catching the ball over their outside shoulder. As they run their route, they run up the numbers, looking inside to the quarterback, snapping the eyes, catching the ball over their outside shoulder. It's the receiver's job to snap the eyes and adjust to the ball. It's the quarterback's job to put air under the ball and give the receiver room and time to adjust to it. As the receivers start this route, we'll have a coach line up over the top of them representing a defensive back. At this point, as he comes out of his stance, the receiver will do a thing that we call foot fire. If I'm going to release this direction, what I'll do is, as I come up onto the DB, I'll pump my arms and my feet, giving the illusion that I'm going that direction. As the DB shifts his weight, then I'll go upfield and run my route. The third phase of this particular drill we call arc routes. And what we do with the arc route is the receiver comes in more as an inside receiver position, runs a swing route, and the quarterback puts the ball on them as they're in stride.
To begin with, we have some wide shots of the pat and go drill. The quarterback will take a 1-step drop, deliver it softly into the hands of the receiver, just like a hot read. He comes off the line, tucks it, takes it up the field, and he's going to hand it to the quarterback in the opposite line where they do the same process again. Some close shots here. Quarterback's arms continuing to loosen up, throwing a little harder here, but still not going all out. Some game clips here illustrating the type of throw that we just did with the 1-step of pat and go. Quick throw delivered softly. This shot here shows the 3-step phase of pat and go. The quarterback's arms have begun to get loosened up, so they're going to put air under the ball and put it over the outside shoulder of the wide receiver. The wide receivers are now running 3/4 to full speed, and they should snap their eyes and catch the ball over their outside shoulder. As you can see, there's a coach over the wide receiver so that he can work on his foot fire. Here's a close shot. Pretty good job catching the ball over his outside shoulder. Good ball placement by the quarterback. Another example here. At this point in the drill, the quarterback's arms should be fully loosened up and the receiver's legs should be loosened up, and we should be going full speed, ready to continue with practice. There's a good example of a foot fire. You can see he fires his feet, the coach shifts his weight, and then we release upfield. Mike Finoga, our tight ends coach, is playing DB here. He does a great job with our tight ends. The receiver foot fires, gets Finoga to shift inside, and then catches the ball over his outside shoulder. Here's a game shot. The ball released up over the outside shoulder. The same catch we worked on in pat and go. Here's another shot. This is the arc route portion of pat and go, where we're running a swing route with the receivers, and the quarterbacks are putting it on them quickly so that their momentum's going forward as they catch the ball. This is kind of a hot play that we run, and this is where we get repetitions on this type of a throw and catch. Good catch, goes straight upfield. Here's some game shots of that. Not always a big gain, but kind of an equalizer, forcing the defense to cover up all the receivers.
The next drill that we're going to run is called routes on air. Behind me you see a number of dummies set up, and they're set up in a configuration of cover 2 zone. Now, depending on what team you're facing or what defense you're going to face on a particular week or whatever you want to work on, you can set up cover 4 zone, cover 3 zone, or any zone type of defense that you might face. The dummies we have here are fairly high quality dummies. In various other places that I've been, we didn't necessarily have this luxury. Other things that you can use in lieu of these dummies are overturned plastic trash cans, scout team players in scrimmage vests standing to assume the position of the dummies, also any type of dummy with the bottom weighted with weight so that they'll stand up in an upright position to represent the defensive players. We teach our pass routes against zone coverage in this drill. The receiver, since it's zone, as they run their route, will settle into the seams of the zone, expecting the ball, catch the ball, turn, go straight upfield, and score every time. We like this drill because it gives us a high number of repetitions and also works on the quarterback reads. In addition to the receivers running their various routes, we'll have 5 quarterbacks set up here who will each drop back and each throw a ball to a different receiver. In doing this, the quarterbacks will work on their reads. For example, if you have the first read, as you take your drop, hit your last step, your ball should be released. Whereas if you have the 5th read, you should go back, hit your last step, your eyes should be on the first receiver, then they should go to the 2nd receiver, then the 3rd receiver, the 4th receiver, and as a result, the quarterback with the 5th read, his ball should be released last. As far as a coach goes, if the balls are released in order, then you know that your quarterbacks have gone through their proper reads. If a ball's thrown out of order, then you know that someone did not go through their proper reads. In this drill, a receiver should never settle behind a dummy. As I'm running my route across the field, I should never settle behind this dummy. Instead, I should settle into the seams of the zone, prepared to catch the ball, tuck it, turn and go straight upfield and score. Likewise, as the quarterbacks throw the ball, they should never throw the ball to over the top of a dummy. They should only throw to a receiver who's settled in between the dummies into the seam of the zone. Now, we have 5 quarterbacks throwing, providing we have 5 quarterbacks. If we don't have all 5 quarterbacks, then we'll have coaches fill in to throw the other balls. So if you have 3 quarterbacks, then we'll put in 2 coaches to throw those extra 2 routes. We run each play in this drill 5 times. The reason we run each play 5 times is because after each play, we're going to rotate our quarterbacks. And we want each quarterback to throw to each route of the play. So for example, if I have the first read and I hit my last step, I release the ball, the next repetition I'll move and I'll be the man that's got the 2nd read, then the 3rd read, and then the 4th read, and then the 5th read. And at that point, I've thrown to all 5 receivers that are involved in this play. And then we go to a new play with a new different set of pass routes. Once again, coaches are out here emphasizing that receivers run the proper route, catch the ball, tuck it, turn and go straight upfield. Quarterback coaches are looking at the quarterback's eyes to make sure that they're taking good drops. As they take their drop, they look at the first read in the play, the 2nd read in the play, and then the 5th read in the play. Even if I have the first read in a particular play, I'll drop back, I'll hit my last step, release the ball because I have the first read, but then my eyes should go to the 2nd read, the 3rd read, the 4th read, the 5th read, so that I'm practicing what needs to be done in the course of reading a pass play. Say, for example, I have the 5th read. I'll drop back to pass. When I hit my last step, my eyes are on the first read, then they go to the 2nd read, go to the 3rd read, go to the 4th read, and then I release the ball to the 5th read. As a result, if I have the first read, that ball should be released first. 5th read should be released last.
This is a good shot of how we set up routes on air. As you can see, there's 5 quarterbacks dropping back, all 5 receivers running the routes of the play. Once they catch the ball, they turn and go straight upfield and score. The quarterbacks, after they throw the first play, will rotate so that they're throwing to a different receiver each time. As you can see, the quarterbacks are kind of side by side, playing relatively tight, which isn't all bad either because quarterbacks have to throw from relatively tight quarters. The other thing is they drop back as I emphasized in the introduction, they should be going through their reads. Here's a pretty good shot. You see the receivers settle in the zones and then all turn upfield and score. Behind the receivers are the other receivers at the various positions waiting for their turn to go. We get rapid repetitions, and every receiver catches a ball, every quarterback throws a ball. Here you can see the quarterbacks throwing the balls at different times depending on which read they have, whether they have the first read, second read, third read, fourth read, or fifth read. There's a receiver catching the ball, settled up in the zone. He goes upfield. This next shot, it's going to show the receiver settle, kind of a tight shot. He settles, catches it, and we get high repetitions. We can get through all our passing game in about 15 minutes with this drill. Here we have an example of a receiver settling in the zone. You can see him settle in the zone. He receives the ball, turns and goes upfield. Tim's getting ready to take the snap. He's got the first read, so the ball should be released as soon as he hits his last step. Matt has the fifth read, so he'll go through all his reads before he releases the ball. Here's a shot of our receiver doing a good job settling in the zone, turning and going straight upfield. Here's a quarterback who hits his first read. Here's an example of a fifth read. Goes through his reads, hits the fifth receiver.
We feel like that footwork is very important for quarterback play. We're going to start out with 2 drills with Tim Couch demonstrating. He's going to do the step-over drill forward, the step-over drill laterally, and then he's going to do the shuffle drill. All of this, we believe, develops great footwork in our quarterbacks.
This is the step-over drill forward. Tim's holding the ball nice and high up by his ear in a ready-to-throw position while working his feet forward and back. This is a great conditioning drill for quarterbacks as well as working on the fundamentals of being ready to throw the ball. Here he's stepping laterally, right to left, once again in a good throwing position. Eyes downfield. Chris Hatcher is our quarterback coach, and he does a fine job coaching Tim Couch.
Now we're going to do the shuffle drill. What the shuffle drill is Tim will drop back, he'll take a 5-step drop, he'll hitch up in the pocket, and then me, the coach, I'll give him a direction, right, left, forward, back, working his feet, and then at the end of the drill, when I put my hand down, he'll release the ball to a receiver. Go hit. Go hit. Hitch up.
Here's some good footwork by Tim Couch in the pocket. What good footwork will do for you is turn what could be a bad play into a really strong play. We get several touchdowns every year just out of our quarterback having good footwork and keeping the ball up in the air, ready to throw. Here we hit just a little swing pass, and he takes it in for a touchdown for us.
Tim's now going to illustrate the various drops that we do. The 3-step, the 5-step, the 7-step. These will all be done down the line. As you can see, Tim has pretty good footwork, and we believe that our footwork drills have done a lot to develop this. And then once again, he has the line down there by his feet as a reference point to make sure he has proper foot placement.
In all of our drops, we want him to get a big first step and go straight back. Here's a pretty good shot of Tim doing the 3-step drop. Here's the 5-step. Carry it back, hitch up into the pocket after you hit the last step if you don't release the ball. Tim does a good job of all of that. Here's the 7-step drop. which is designed to allow him to hitch up in the pocket even further, especially if he anticipates a deep downfield throw.
Sometimes when the quarterback drops back, it's important for him to release the ball quickly to a hot receiver. The next drill that we're going to run is called the hot drill or get big drill. What Tim's going to do is he's going to drop back. As he's mid-step in his drop, I'm going to clap my hands, simulating that a defender's there right now, and he has to get big in the pocket and release the ball to an awaiting receiver. Go hit. Go hit.
In these two plays that we have here, Tim was able to get rid of the ball quickly, and both of them were big plays for us and resulted in touchdowns.
Another drill we do is called the circle drill. What this drill is designed to do is to allow the quarterback to work on getting his number square to the line of scrimmage as he has to release the ball on the move. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the quarterback with a receiver or possibly another quarterback. They're going to be about 10 yards apart, and they're going to run a circle to the right, releasing the ball to each other at various intervals, and then turn and run the circle to the left, releasing the ball at various intervals. Emphasis on keeping the ball high and the number square to the direction where they're throwing the ball.
In this drill, we want the quarterback to have great pass and release fundamentals and to continue to deliver the ball accurately. He needs to get his shoulders around and step into the throw. As you can see, Tim's getting his shoulders around as he releases the ball. We're working it to the right side first, and then he's going to reverse directions and work it to the left. Here's a pretty good shot of Tim's feet. Once again, ball high in everything that he does in this drill. Again,